Now let us deal with repetition and different types of repetition. Repetition is just a simple repetition of a word within a sentence or a poetical line with no particular placement of the words. This is such a common literary device that it is almost never even noted as a figure of speech. For example, today as never before, the fates of men are so intimately linked to one another that a disaster for one is a disaster for everybody. And now let us deal with different types of repetition. Epizeuxis or palilogy. It is a repetition of a single word with no other words in between. This is from the Greek words, fastening together. For example, words, words, words. Contemplicatio is a repetition of a word in various places throughout a paragraph. And the world said, disarm, disclose, or face serious consequences. And therefore, we worked with the world. We worked to make sure that Saddam Hussein heard the message of the world. Anadiplosis is a repetition of the last word of a preceding clause. The word is used at the end of a sentence and then used again at the beginning of the next sentence. This, it seemed to him, was the end of a world as he had known it. The longer life, the more offense. The more offense, the greater pain. The greater pain, the less defense. Anaphora, as we have already mentioned above, is a repetition of a word or phrase at the beginning of every clause. So we shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender. Epistrophe is a repetition of a word or phrase at the end of every clause. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny compared to what lies within us. It is a kind of antonym for anaphora. Mesodiplosis is a repetition of a word or phrase at the middle of every clause. We're troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We're perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed. And now about detached constructions. Sometimes one of the secondary members of the sentence is placed so that it seems formally independent of the word it refers to. Being formally independent, the secondary member acquires a greater degree of significance and is given prominence by intonation. For example, she was gone, for good. I want to go, he said, miserable. If not for the comma in this sentence, grammatically, as you notice, miserably adverb is expected. The pause indicated by the comma implies that miserable is adjective and refers to the pronoun he. She was lovely, all of her, delightful. Here again, the mark of punctuation plays an important role. The dash standing makes the word conspicuous, and being isolated becomes the peak of the utterance. Now pay attention to some more examples. June stood in front, fending off this idle curiosity, a little bit of a thing, as somebody said, all hair and spirit. And he walked slowly past again, along the river, an evening of clear, quiet beauty, all harmony and comfort, except within his heart. This stylistic device has not been much researched by stylisticians. According to Galperin, the essential quality of detached construction lies in the fact that the isolated parts represent a kind of independent whole thrust into the sentence or placed in a position which will make the phrase or word seem independent. But a detached phrase cannot rise to the rank of a primary member of the sentence. It always remains secondary from the semantic point of view, although structurally it possesses all the features of a primary member. This clash of the structural and semantic aspects of detached constructions produces the desired effect. forcing the reader to interpret the logical connections between the component parts of the sentence. Logical ties between them always exist in spite of the absence of syntactical indicators.